Hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ali, and before I start today's video, I do just want to say I have hit 50 subscribers on my channel, and that just makes me so happy to think that 50 people took time out of their day to subscribe to my channel. Just makes my heart feel warm, and I just wanted to take the time and say thank you. And if you're watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, consider doing so. It would make me really happy. And yeah, I guess. Also, another thing is I'm filming in my living room today, not my bedroom per usual, but that's why it kind of looks different. There's a couch and curtains here, and then like a wall, and you can see the cord to my air conditioning, so that's kind of weird. I definitely won't be filming here in the future. It was just more convenient for me today, but now that I won't stop rambling, let's just go ahead and get into today's video. So today's video is going to be about the plague, or the Black Death, and one fact about me is that I'm actually a nursing student going for my master's in order to become a nurse practitioner. Right now I work as a CNA, so unfortunately I do see a lot of people with disease and illnesses, and it's of course really sad. One thing I think about time from time, and also I'm sorry if you can hear a train, I live by a train track, but one thing I think about a lot actually working in the health field is how incredibly blessed I am to live in a time, place, and age with the help of preventative drugs and things like that, where I'm just so much more protected from different diseases and illnesses than people throughout our history and people in different places of the world. One reason I wanted to talk about the Black Death today on my channel is not only does it interest me from a medical perspective, but it's absolutely terrifying and still around today. So diving back into some history, the Black Death is a plague that arrived in Europe by sea in October of 1347. I'm just waiting for these trains to stop, but I don't think they're going to. They're so loud. Okay, back to 1347, October in Europe. One day, 12 trading ships docked in the Sicilian port of Mesna after an extremely long trip through the Black Sea. I do just want to stop and say I am so sorry if I sound absolutely illiterate while trying to pronounce like some of these names of these countries, because I've never been there. I don't major in geography. I have this problem with names too. I don't know what it is about words I haven't heard before that I'm just so bad at pronouncing them. Maybe I need to redo phonics, I'm not sure. I'll put names of what the words I feel like I'm mispronouncing. Can I even talk? The answer is no, on the screen, because I'm sorry, and don't roast me in the comments. Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, most of the sailors aboard these 12 ships were dead, and the very few that remained alive were gravely ill. They had terrible fevers, they are unable to keep any food down, and they were also extremely delirious from the incredible amount of pain they were in. Bizarre enough, they were covered in mysterious black boils that oozed blood and pus, and these boils are what gave their illness the name the Black Death. The Sicilian authorities immediately ordered the death ships away, but sadly it was too late for Europe at this point. Over the next 5 years, this plague took over 20 million lives in Europe, which was just about 1/3 of the continent's population at the time. Even before these ships arrived in Europe, there were rumors about a terrible disease spreading through trade routes from the Near and Far East. So in the early 1340s, which would have been a few years before Europe, the disease had actually struck China, Syria, India, and Egypt. Not only was the Black Death horribly contagious, it was also terrifyingly efficient. People could seem to be in perfect health the night before, and they could be found dead by morning. Think of that. Think of someone you know, a loved one, or just a friend, telling them goodnight before you go to sleep. They seem to be fine, and then when you go to wake them up in the morning, they have passed away. To me, that thought is just really sad. So one eerie thing I kind of wanted to mention is that several scholars think that the nursery rhyme Ring Around the Posy actually was written about the Black Death, and when you think about that, that is so creepy, because I mean, I don't see kids nowadays so much saying that nursery rhyme, but when I was a child, I definitely knew that nursery rhyme and would join hands with my friends, and we'd run around in circles and fall down at the end. And to like know where that was probably like written about just freaks me out, and it creeps me out, and it leaves a gross kind of feeling in my stomach. Today, we know the plague was spread by a bacteria called Yersinia pestis. it's a French term. I obviously don't speak French, so I will of course put it on the screen. It was discovered by a French biologist named Alexandra Yernis. Put it right there, and she discovered it around the end of the 19th century. We now know this germ or bacteria travels through your lungs or through the air, and it also can be traveled through the bites of infected rats and fleas. As I'm sure you know, medieval Europe had an abundance of rats and fleas, and back then, ships, I mean they still are, but especially back then, were a huge source of trade, and you know, rats were abundant also on ships, so it makes sense to me that it traveled from continent to continent, to country so quickly, like it almost sounds inevitable, and it's heartbreaking, but you know, it makes sense. Ew. I'm looking at my cat's rat toy as we're talking about infested like rats and stuff, and it's grossing me out. Gross. After Mesna, it struck France, Africa, Rome, Florence, and then London. It's really scary because no one knew how you got it or where it was coming from. I mean, doctors refused to see patients, priests refused to see people, people even abandoned their loved ones after they got sick in order to save themselves, and even then they couldn't escape this disease. Because people did not understand the biology of the disease, many people, and I'm talking pretty much most people, thought that it was some sort of punishment or retribution for sins against God, and by this logic, they thought that the only way to get rid of the disease or the plague was to gain God's forgiveness. So people purged their own sins like, I don't know, greed, fornication, worldliness, and they also took matters into their own hands, and this led to a horrifying, heartbreaking massacre of Jewish people between the year 1348 and 1349. It's so devastating that I could probably do a whole video about it, but for now I'm just gonna leave some links in the description box if you want to learn more about it, because it's so like unsettling and just really sad. The Black Death epidemic had pretty much ran its course by the early 1350s. However, it has reappeared for generations, for seriously, you guys, centuries. Like, it reappears every few generations for like hundreds of years. It's been doing this. Modern sanitation and public health practices and stuff like that have greatly migrated it to like certain areas of the world, which is really sad to think about. That's why I was saying early in the video, I just feel so blessed to like where I live. We have great public, what am I trying to say? What's the word? Standard health practices and stuff like that that prevent diseases such as the Black Plague, but it's not eliminated. It still exists and it still happens. It also just makes you wonder, like, is there ever going to be a disease that like our standard health practices and stuff like that aren't enough for? Like, is there gonna be another plague like this? It's scary. I mean, Ebola, think of like Ebola. That's something I might do a video on, but it's really scary, and I'm pretty much going to end the video right here. If you guys liked this video, please let me know in the comments. Give this video a big thumbs up, and again, thank you for 50 subscribers, you guys. I really appreciate it. Like, I sincerely appreciate it, so thank you. What else am I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm on Christmas break right now, which is so nice. I have a few more weeks of classes off, so expect more videos from me extremely soon. Actually, I feel like I'll have another one up tomorrow because I'm filming another one tomorrow, so I'll probably get it edited and up, but we'll see. I'm just really excited for my channel, and I'm gonna stop talking now. I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I will see you next time.